Hello, welcome back. It's Belinda here from Visualised NZ. I'm just here to pick out some papers for the journal I'm working on for Lydia. So you may have seen this in an earlier video where I explained how I made the cover for the journal. So this is the cover, and I'm going to leave any embellishment of it until I've sewn in the signature. I just had to think about it and thought, whoops, sorry, I just knocked the tripod. That's going to be the easiest way to do it. So I need pages that are A4-ish in size. So I've been round because my paper, most of it is stored in a different room. So I've just gathered up a whole heap of ones I thought might work. And I'm just going to go through them and trim them where they need to be trimmed, fold them, etc. So I'll start with these ones here. So just a calendar page. It's already A4 size, and it's got a kiwi bird on it. No, it's got quite a glare on it because it's shiny paper, so I don't know if you can see it, and it's quite a dark image. I find with this calendar it's actually quite hard because most of the bird, it's all of birds, most of the birds' faces are right in the middle, which means that you would actually fold their face in half. So they're not often suitable for journal pages, but that one was okay. This is a digital printable that I had printed out. I bought this on Design Bundles. I think it's .com, but if you search Design Bundles you'll find them anyway. I am planning to do a bee journal soonish, and had printed this out, and it was too cold to print any new digitals, so I thought I'll just use what I've already got printed. So I thought that might be quite cute in this journal. Some grid page that's coffee dyed, and it's still got quite a strong coffee smell, which I really enjoy. So Lydia, I hope you like the smell of coffee. It will of course fade over time, so you can always give it a bit of an air out. Here's one of my jelly prints that I've done. Now this one was quite a long time ago, I think, from memory. One of my earlier prints done with lace, and I think that's quite cool. Actually, I'm going to fold this with the white on the outside just for something a bit different. I tend to always fold so the pattern's on the outside, but sometimes it's nice to fold it the other way. Here's a bit of a brown paper bag that I already trimmed down a few minutes ago. I thought I would do it off camera because it was quite a big bag and had my name and address on it, which isn't a huge deal, but it did, and it was awkward to do it, and I knew it would be quite noisy, so I did that one. A bit of book page here from a vintage children's book. I can't find a date on it. I find it's an annual type book where they've got lots of different stories from different authors, and I find it's quite typical that they don't date with the publication date, so I'm picking maybe the 50s, just at a guess. A bit of my eco-dyed paper here. This is from the last batch I did. So it's got some really pretty pastel colours going on. Not too much in the way of pattern, leaf patterns, but still pretty. But another book page. This is a book page out of the nature book. One of the ones that I didn't want anything off of to cut out, so there is the odd full page still in there, which is quite handy. I've got another calendar page here. Now this is a big calendar page, and it's of antique or vintage maps, which I think is quite cool. It's quite a thick one actually, but it's too big, so if I grab one of the A4 sheets back from this pile and sort of work out where I need to trim it. I'd quite like to leave the month in there because I think Lydia would like to use this as her August journal, so I'd like to leave the August in there. And let's see, if I do that we're going to lose some of the map. How am I going to do this? what if I fold up the bottom here? Now Lydia doesn't want any pockets or anything, which is fine, is great. But I was having to think about it this morning and thought, well, you could actually build pockets in that you don't add pockets to, but if you fold the page you can create a pocket, and then it doesn't have to be used as a pocket. It can just be decorated, put stuff on like the rest of them. So I think I might fold this one up, and that way I can get the month and the map, which will be good, and the August will be up the right way, whereas either the map or the month was going to be the wrong way around. I'll shift those out the way so I can grab my ruler, and I'm not going to tear this. This could be a bit tricky because it's longer than my cutting mat, but we'll see how we go. Could be it end up a bit jaggedy. And I'm going to slice it because, as I said, it's quite thick. Oops. Slicing off little curly cues. Right, so I've just got that. Should be able to get that last little bit with the scissors. About there, it's a little bit jagged, that's okay. And it also needs a little bit off the side. Doesn't matter which side I do, so I'm just going to take one side and give it a bit of a trim down. I'm going to take a bit more than what I need to, just because it's quite nice to have different size pages. It'll be close to A4, just slightly narrower. So put it closer into the middle of the signature, then hopefully it should be just about right without sticking past the pages, rest of the pages. There we go, pop that off. Here we go. And which way around will I do it? Oh, decisions, just do it. Fluffing around. Honestly, you can think too much about the little decisions sometimes and just take way too much time on things that actually don't really matter. So because this is a thicker calendar page, I am just giving it a good press down there with the bone folder. Okay, some music page. Again, it's a bit large. Yeah, we're going to do this one. So I almost want to go right around the edges so I don't lose any of the music. So bear with me. I'm sure it's not too fascinating to see me just cut paper, but this is the process that you need to do when you're getting pages together for a journal. Is you need to trim up here and there and work out which parts you want. Do this end first. That'll take care of that bent corner as well. And every now and then I'm taking a sliver off my eco-dyed piece of paper there, and I don't worry about that. It's not going to hurt it. It's just going to make it slightly smaller than it was, which will be barely noticeable, if at all noticeable. So I don't typically measure things as in get the ruler out and mark along how many centimetres or whatever, because it's time consuming. And it's not fail-safe method either. Nine times I end up with something crooked when I've actually measured it out and ruled it. It's a little ridiculous. I'm not quite sure why that happens. So doing it this way, either tearing or using a craft knife, sometimes I'll draw a line and then use scissors to cut along the line. It's just easy. I just find it easy, quick, and relatively painless. And I've done this crooked, but it doesn't matter. Won't matter at all in the journal. Journals are very forgiving, really. You know, the perfectionist in me wants to get it all straight, but I also know I'm under time pressure. I don't want to fiddle around and keep you all sitting there bored or ducking out before you've seen the whole video. Although you're more than welcome to do that, of course. So I need to just keep moving along, make it snappy, make good decisions, and keep going. Now I don't know how many pages I've pulled out here, so I'm just going to prepare and fold them all, and then I'll work out. Now this is a bit of ledger paper. I've never had a ledger before, but a lovely lady in a town at least an hour away, maybe an hour and a half away from here, can't quite remember. She sent me down a box of books this morning, and a ledger was in it. Unfortunately, most of the pages that had writing on have been cut out. There's a couple still left in there, which I'm excited by, but most of it is just blank, unused pages, which is good too. I just would have, been nice to have a bit more handwriting in there. I don't know what year it's from. I think it's again from the 50s, but I'd have to look at it again. Okay, so this is too long, so I'm going to fold it in half, or not in half, but fold it to A4 size, or A5 size, sorry. So very excited to have my first ever ledger book. It's so exciting. And then I'm going to fold in this little flappy bit, and I'm going to fold it in more than the A5 size, just because, again, just create different size journal pages that hopefully will be fun for Lydia to play with. Okay, bit of just plain coloured A4 copy paper. I'll throw that in the pile. Yeah, as I said, I don't know whether I've got enough pages, too many pages, or what here, so we'll work that out. I've got this bit of wrapping paper here, which I think is super, super fun. So it definitely needs cut down, and it's a bit raggedy. It's got some marks on, but that's all fun. So I'm just going to use where that crease already is as my point to trim this down. So again, actually I'm going to rip this because it's very light paper, so it will rip fine, and it's going to create some really cool scraps. Look at that. Sorry, I've gone quiet. Concentrating on lining it up, I think. Okay, and that top edge is actually straight, so I'm going to push that right up to the top, and then just rip that bottom edge, which is a bit curvy and not in a good way. So what's everybody up to today? Are you crafting? Are you working? Of course, if you're working, you're not watching this video, are you? Unless you're watching it at night. How's your day been? It's afternoon here at the moment, and it's been a super, super cold day where I just cannot warm up. We had a frost and fog combination this morning. We don't get that very often, but I don't like it when we do get it because it's freezing with the frost, and then with the fog it clears to a point, So it's not foggy immediately outside, but the sky tends to stay grey and gross, which means the sun never breaks through, and it's just cold. And being in an old house, it's just cold, and I've had the fire going, had a blanket on me, I've got so many layers of clothes on. I feel like the Michelin Man. I don't know if you know the Michelin Man, but used to be a mascot for tyres in the UK. So he's got these big white rings around him. He looks like he's made of marshmallows or something, or white tyres. And he's quite a cute character actually. But I feel like him because I feel like I'm all blown up with these layers of clothing. Sorry, that last bit was a bit of A4 scrapbook paper. So I just folded that in half. This is a paper serviette, or paper placemat. Which I thought would be nice. I'd like to use the crinkly edges, but it's a bit big. How am I going to do that? Okay, I might trim off the top and the bottom. So if I trim inside that blue line, I'm just going to, because it's too big for my cutting mat, I'm just going to hand cut it with scissors. And so we'll lose the scalloped edge on the top and bottom. But I'm thinking maybe I'll fold in the sides so that the scallop is kept. Just eyeballing along the line. Like I keep saying, it doesn't have to be perfect. Okay. And the other side, it doesn't take very long. I've got a few of these. I think I sent them in Happy Mail. Not sure even who sent them to me, so it would be funny, Lydia, if it was you who sent them to me. Don't think it was, but you never know. But I've been using them every now and then in my journals, so I've been hoarding them a bit, and it's like, really, I should be using them. Right, okay, I might do the same as what I did with that last one. I'm going to fold it into A5, but I'm going to do it the other way around, so the flappy bit's on a different page. I'm going to fold it about there, and then this bit I'm actually going to fold back on itself, so it will decorate that white page a little bit. And so that could be used as a tuck or a pocket if glued down, or it could be just a flap to journal on, extend the writing space. So I'll leave that decision for Lydia to make, so I'm not going to glue it down myself, whereas the other one, haven't decided yet. I might glue it down or I might not. I've got some stamp album pages here. Now these are shorter, so I'm just going to fold them in half like so. I think I've probably got way too many papers pulled out, but that's alright. They'll just go in a different journal. I've got this upside down calendar planner type thing. I bought a pad of them at the cheap, what we call $2 shops, but not everything's $2. I bought this years ago, and it's got, down the side it had lots of little post-it note type decorated pads. So just rip this off. I'm not sure whether I'll use it as a little page or as a flip tip-in or something. I'll just keep it in the pile. This is an old exercise book, full scap size, which is longer than A4. And I like pulling, I took the staples out, and the staples were rusted, so there's little rust marks around the holes where the staples were. And I like pulling the double pages out so I can put the lines in the right direction. So just trim that. Oops, sorry about that noise. Put my scissors away actually so that won't happen again. And until next time. And using the craft knife because there's a couple of layers to go through. And so this could be again used as pages, or what I often do is use that for collage for the backs of tags and things. And then I am going to trim down the side. Again, these bits that I cut off are great for the backs, collaging the backs of journal cards and things, for writing space. So I like to keep a good supply, so I would usually trim these off rather than folding them in. Good usable paper. That one. Now this is a paper I found in my stash which I didn't realize I had. It's not quite sure what precisely. It's almost got a waxy feel, but not, which makes no sense. I mean, I know that makes no sense, but I just honestly do not know what type of paper it is. But it's got a lovely sound. Can you hear that? I like the sound of papers. So I'm just going to fold that, and I think it could be too tall. Definitely too tall. So will I fold up and make a little... No, I think I'm going to trim this one as well. And then I'll have a nice little strip for something else. It's a pretty colour. I like the colour. So yeah, I have no idea how I ended up with this paper. I've got quite a bit of it too. It was in a packet behind some other paper. Yeah, and I just didn't realise that that's what was in behind the other paper. There we go. Coming to the end of the ones I've pulled out. So have you counted? Do you know how many I've got? Because I have no idea. This is a map from the maps I got from a friend's father when he downsized. It's Yellowstone and Grand Teton. Is that how you say it? I'm not sure, to be honest, how you say it. And I've taken a nick out of my thumb somehow. Just noticed I've got a little sore bit. So I must have done that with a craft knife. It's a little bit tender, but it's okay. Right, there's some nice illustrations down the side of this. So I'm going to take it to the other side here. And what I might do with this one is actually rule the lines and cut, just to show you the different ways that I mark out or deal with my paper, because I don't want to tear across those illustrations, because I might go straight through one of them and lose it. So I will show you that sometimes I just rule the lines and cut. I'm just going to eyeball this, and just to get it straight so it's not crooked, I line up the edge of this, assuming that the paper that you've got in front of you is straight. I line up the edge of my ruler with the edge of the paper and the line that I drew. And if it's not straight, well, I tried my best. It usually works pretty well. Put that one aside and cut. Now it can be hard to see the line, of course, and I've chosen quite a detailed surface on which to draw a line, but it's not too bad. Some papers I've done that on have been just awful, and it's like, where is the line? I know I drew the line, but I can't find it. This one's actually not too bad. I thought it might have, whoops, didn't cut that straight. These scissors, I find when you go the full length in a cut, give a curve. Now I'm not quite sure why that is, and it's quite annoying. but I'm not going to worry about it because it's a journal. Okay. Oops, I've cut the wapiti, the elk. I've cut his nose off. Oh well. Oh well. I'm not gluing it back on. So I've got the rest of that there if we need another page. Look, there's his nose. Poor elk. Injured in the craft making. Okay, and the last thing I've got here to chop into is a page from rolling off my brayer when I've been jelly printing. So it's got all sorts of weird and wonderful colours and patterns that were just totally random. It's quite a heavy paper. It's like a cartridge paper. And I thought I would take a section somewhere down here. Lydia told me she's been using a lot of pink, so I thought I wanted to grab this pink part, and there's some dark pink over here. So if I get both of those, I think that might be quite nice. Oh, I think I actually nicked my thumb on the ruler. I think that's what's given me a little divot, because I just picked up the ruler then and it went straight into the hole in my thumb. So it's a little bit sorer now than it was. You've got to take the blows when you're crafting. Nothing can get in the way. You carry on. Injury, blood. There's no blood, but you know. Yep. You've just got to do the hard yards. Okay, how am I going to do this without losing? Just going to slice that bit. Get that out of my way. Swing this around, hopefully. And hopefully that's just on my cutting mat. Yeah, working with these bigger pieces of paper and things is certainly a challenge on my desk. And of course I've got things around me like my cup of tea, which I really need to have a drink of because I'm getting a bit dry. And I've got my pottle into which I put my rubbish, and yeah, stack of paper for the pages, and it's just quite a challenge. And then the glue, I'm always knocking over my glues when I'm dealing with things like this. Fun and games. Right. Move that out of the way for this cut. And I'm not actually fully on my cutting mat. Take that up a scooch. Yep. And I'm going to assume this paper underneath is straight. No guarantee it is. Okay, so now I can get that out the way and bring it back if I need some more pages, and cut down. So I need about that much off the bottom. So I'm just going to take it a bit further than what I think. I prefer to do that than have to keep trimming down and trim down some more, and yeah, I prefer to take a little bit extra than what I need. And then it should work out well. Right, another scrap. Please excuse me sniffing, it's terrible. It's the cold weather making my nose run. Again, there's something about being on camera too. It's like, I don't think I've done a single video where I haven't gone, oh no, I need to blow my nose. And I think that's just winter. Right, put that on the outside. I love these brayer off papers. Oops, that's not at all straight. Oh dear. that will need trimming. They're just so cool, and when you take a section that just looks like a complete and utter mess, and then you make it smaller, and it's actually really cool. You start to see the details, and that didn't even fold straight, so I'm going to give that another go. I think the whole thing's totally crooked. Oh, where's my bone folder? Oh, I didn't put it away. Naughty. Right, and now I'm going to have to trim down those because they will annoy me. They're too far off to be cute. Actually, I might line it up. This is where a grid on a cutting mat is so helpful, because you think you've got something straight and then it's like crooked, and then you trim it and it's still crooked, and don't know how many times I've done that. Too many. Okay, so this one will be a bit smaller, which is absolutely fine. I'm just eyeballing the distance from the edge of the ruler to the grid mark. Slice it. Yep, and that one, gosh, I made a real hash job of this one. Yeah. So yeah, so it will be quite a bit smaller, but perfectly okay. There we go. So let's see how many pages we've prepared and whether we need to cull or add. So I need 16 of these for the journal. Normally I'd put 15 in, but this journal's going to have 16. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll put that one aside because I'm not sure. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay, I think we've got too many. Right. So for a start, I'll take out one of the album pages because we only need one of those. We've got 2 calendar pages. Maybe we'll take out one of the calendar pages. What was that one? That was a jelly print. So we've got 2 lots of jelly print. Maybe I'll take out one of those. We've got 2 different types of book page here. So the nature one, which is fairly boring, and this one, at least this one, is beautiful and aged, and it's got a lovely feel as well. It's quite soft in texture, so I'll leave that one on. So we had 20, so I've taken 4 out. Okay, so I'll just double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Yeah. So that all the pages, and I'm thinking maybe I'll use this, attach this as a tip-in or something, or maybe I'll just include it with the journal for Lydia to decide how to use. I'm not sure. So now I'm going to put these pages in some sort of order. So I always like to mix up plains and patterns. So the map and plain, and maybe some music. Paper bag. I do love using brown paper in journals. I think the sound of it, the texture, the look, it's perfect, really. Just one of those perfect things. Use the Be Printable. Is it up the right way? Oh yeah, the bees are going all over the place, so that's fine. Use this pretty red paper, the stamp album paper, book page, maybe this paper placemat next, and the copy paper, the green copy paper. Oops, if I can open it. Jelly print or jelly braille off page, the ledger paper, the map or the calendar page, coffee dyed paper, scrapbook paper, and then I know I've got two patterns together, but then there's the wrapping paper. And actually I don't think I want the wrapping paper in the middle because it's quite a lightweight thin paper. So which one did I fold so the pattern was on the inside? Here's that page. Sorry, I think I went off camera for a second. I did fold one in, didn't I? Where'd it go? Ah, it was one I took out, was it? Okay. So what I'm going to do then is I'm going to switch the B1 for the wrapping paper, and I'm going to fold the bees so the bees are on the inside, so that when you get to the middle of the signature the bees are showing like that. So that's my signature for Lydia's journal. Right, how long have we been going? I think we've still got a bit of time. I'm going to do the binding. So I didn't grab out my stuff first, but it's under a few things, but right behind me. So this is my box of binding materials. So in here I've got my clips. I'll grab out 4 of those. I've got the corners that I put on the journals. I've got the thread. What colour will I put? I think I'll use brown thread. My needles, I need those. And I need my awl. So my pokey tool, otherwise called a pokey tool. And I think that's all I need. Side. And I need creating all sorts of noise. Now this is just some foam packaging that my husband gets me from his workplace, and I like to use that when I'm using my awl. Some people use books to poke down into. Some people do it on like the cutting mat. I'm sure there are other ways. I know Gail Agostinelli's got a book cradle that she puts it in and pokes down, and it holds the journal in the sort of right position to poke the holes. But I love this foam packaging stuff because it's gentle on the awl, so you don't actually damage the point of your awl. Oops, come on, get on that. And it's a free resource, something that might otherwise go into landfill. And if it gets too broken down through repeated holes, which would take a long time because I've been using this bit for quite a while, but if it goes yucky, then I can actually dispose of it and get a new bit. So I just eyeball the middle. I don't measure at all when I'm doing this. I just eyeball where the middle roughly is, and I'm doing a 3 pamphlet stitch binding, and then I come up from the bottom, eyeball it 1.5 inches, 2 inches, just depending really. It's very oh, I can't think of the word, it's terrible, my mind's gone blank. Random. How could I not think of the word? So every journal will be slightly different because I didn't do the cover. I'm too busy talking, I wasn't thinking. So normally, actually it's not the first time I've done that, you need to clip it into the cover so you can punch the holes in the cover at the same time. So let's just pretend that I didn't do that, and I'm going to be doing it for the first time, punching holes for the first time this time round. And hopefully you're not having focus issues, because I know I'm sort of lifting things up and down, and that may cause spasms for the poor camera, but hopefully it's okay, because this is a one-shot thing. If this goes awry, then I'll have to do a different video, a different journal to show the binding. Okay, so now I'm going to punch the holes through our signature pages and our cover. So it is not too bad actually, even though I've done that, because I've already got the holes there. So all I need to do is just follow them down and break through the cover. Sometimes it can be really hard to see the holes on the cover, depending on the pattern of what you've covered it with. And so you need to go down a decent depth so that it makes a slightly bigger hole that you can see. If you don't have an awl, I've got 2 awls. I bought both either eBay or AliExpress. This one is sharper than the other one, so I prefer using this one, which is the second one I purchased. And the cover on it is actually from the first one. But if you don't have an awl, some people use a sharp needle to poke the holes and do the threading at the same time. Yeah, I really like using the awl, and it's useful for other things too. Sometimes you want something that's sharp and, you know, not a needle, because the needle's quite hard on your fingers to hold and put pressure on. Right, so we need thread, and usually the usual recipe is 3 times the height of your journal. So 1, 2, 3. You will get a little bit of wastage. I'm using waxed cord because I like the way it holds a knot when you knot it. I've tried other things and I don't like that they can come undone sometimes. So this is waxed thread. You can buy it in New Zealand, and you can buy awls in New Zealand too if you look around. But we bought the bigger rolls of it through AliExpress. You do have to watch though, this blue roll here, which is very cool and I'm using it a lot. When my husband ordered it, he ordered black or brown, one or the other, and this colour arrived, and he was wanting it for jewellery making, and the type of jewellery making he was making, this was definitely not suitable, but it's been great for my journals. Okay, so sewing in, go in the middle hole and find your, yeah, see that one hasn't poked through very well on that, but that's all right, I'll use the needle to help. So through your middle hole and pull your cord or whatever you're using to tie it with, and hold on with your thumb for a tail. Then you find one of the other holes, it doesn't matter whether you go in through the top or the bottom, and work it through. Pull, and this is probably the trickiest bit, is going back through that center hole. And when you go through here, if you cut into this cord, if you go through the cord, then you're not going to be able to tighten your binding. So it's very important that you keep clear of that thread and go down beside it, not through it. Otherwise you'll end up with a sloppy spine. So pull that a little bit just so it's taut, and then go to the other hole. I might need to repunch that a little bit because I can't quite see the hole. Yep, that's better. Sometimes even if you make a decent hole, the threads close up and you can't see. So up through that hole. And now grab your needle and pass it under that bottom loop. So here's your middle hole here, and the first bit that you did, and you want to go under that. Pull it through, and you can take the needle off. And you've got threads on either side of the hole. Pull it tight or taut, but not too tight. You don't want to bend your spine, but you want it tight enough so that it keeps the journal nice and secure, and nothing falling out or going sideways. And then give it a couple, 2 or 3, I usually use 3 knots just to make sure it's nice and secure, like that. Then you can take off the clips. So bulldog clips work really well for this. If you don't have bulldog clips, you can use paper clips or oh, I think the plumber's just arrived. I have to pause you and I'll be back soon. Right, I'm back. It was the plumber turning up. We've had some issues with our toilet system. Oh, such dramas. But anyway, he's here now and hopefully we'll sort it. So we'd got to binding our book together, and you do have to make sure that you get it up the right way, and I didn't. So that's okay. This is now the front. Oh, the amount of times I've done it upside down. And I was distracted, wasn't I? Okay, so it's tied in and you've left with these strings. So you can trim them off, in which case you've got quite a bit of wastage. You can tie them in a bow, just a simple little bow like so, and then trim off what you don't want. I leave mine until the end and I decide what I want to do with them. Perfect place to tie on charms if you want to just dangle them at the bottom of your journal or just inside your journal. Quite often I'll use punched shapes and punch 2 of the same shape and then sandwich the cord between them, so that's a little dangle on the end that sits flat. Or whatever else you want to do with those. You could put beads on them or whatever. So I always just let them dangle until I've decided how I want to treat them. So hopefully that was useful to you on how to bind and how I went about choosing the papers and putting them together. If you watch this video, I hope you're liking it so far. It won't be long till it will be winging its way to you, because I'm just going to go through, see if I need to do any little tidying up. Of course I need to finish the cover, decide what I'm going to do with the cover. I have got something to go on the spine, which I'm probably not going to show what I do to the cover, so that Lydia gets some element of surprise when she receives it. So this is possibly the last you'll see of the journal until Lydia receives it, and then I'll leave her to show it on her channel if she wants to. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed watching this just short little series on making this journal. It's been my great pleasure to do it for you, Lydia, and I really hope that you enjoy using it when you go to use it. So that's all for today now. I better go and check what the plumber's up to. So see you next time. Bye.